Okay, ready? Go ahead and bring this meeting of the Board of Adjustment to order. Madam Secretary, would you please determine a quorum?
Clay Thomas,
Here.
Christina Hill, absent. Lee Lawrence,
Here.
Brad Stanley,
Here.
Kim Toulouse, absent.
Okay, we have a quorum. We'll all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Large, would you please give the ethics law announcement?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board members are reminded that if, with respect to any matter or any person coming before the board today, you have received a gift or loan, you have a pecuniary interest, you have a commitment in a private capacity, such as a family, employment, business, or similar relationship, or you provided representation or counseling before an agency to a person or entity for compensation within the last year on a matter being considered, you must disclose the gift, loan, interest, commitment, or prior representation at the time the matter is being considered. You must furthermore abstain from deliberation or voting on the matter if it is clear that the gift, loan, interest, commitment, or prior representation would materially affect the independence of judgment of a reasonable person. Board members are also reminded that under the Board of Adjustment rules, if you had any contact outside this meeting with any persons interested in a matter coming before the board today, you should disclose the nature of that conduct at this meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Lloyd, appeal procedure, please.
Most decisions rendered by the Board of Adjustment are appealable to the Board of County Commissioners. If you disagree with the decision of the Board of Adjustment and you want to appeal this action, you may do so in writing within 10 calendar days from the date the decision being appealed is signed by the Secretary of the Board of Adjustment and mailed to the original applicant in the proceeding being appealed in accordance with Washoe County Code. Please call the planning staff immediately at 328-6100 for information on the appeal procedure and application fee.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the general public comment and discussion thereof. Any person is invited to speak on any item on or off the agenda during this period. Action may not be taken on any matter raised during the public comment period until the matter is specifically listed on the agenda as an action item. Madam Secretary, do we have anyone wishing to speak at this time?
I have no request to speak.
Thank you. Next item is possible action to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I was not here, so I have no comments. Really nothing I can say about it.
Okay. Anything else? I'll accept a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is possible action to approve the June 6th, 2019 draft minutes. Any discussion?
Again, Mr. Chair, I wasn't present, so I have no comments regarding the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Stanley, you have any comments on this issue?
No, I don't.
Thank you. I will accept a motion then.
I so moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stanley. I'll second that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries. Next is the public hearing. The first item up on the agenda is administrative case permit number WADMIN 19-0013. It's the League to Save Lake Tahoe Annual Fashion Show and Luncheon outdoor event. Before we get started, are there any disclosures?
Nope.
Oh, thank you very much. Mr. Pelham.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Roger Pelham with Washoe County Planning. This is essentially a carbon copy of the same event that has taken place for a number of years. You did approve an administrative permit for the same event last year. This is a one-door outdoor community event on the shores of Lake Tahoe on private land. Here is the location in relationship. You can see there Lakeshore Boulevard and then the lake itself. And this is a photo sort of looking east. All of the impacts have been provided for, including security, fire, EMS, liability. Parking will be off-site. There's a shuttle they're going to bring the participants to. The location for the event itself, which is held in a series of tents right there on the beach. Notice has been provided in accordance with the development code. This was heard by the Citizen Advisory Board on June 3rd and recommended for approval. The reviewing agencies are included in your staff report, all of which have recommended approval. Any conditions have also been included in the recommended conditions of approval. We do have, there we go. I believe that all of the findings can be made, including consistency, the adequate improvements, the site's suitable, and the issuance is not detrimental. I have one amended condition to recommend. Because of the timing of this hearing, the condition from Rhodes that the corrected agreement be provided 30 days in advance isn't possible because we're less than 30 days now. So I simply changed that to immediately upon approval of this administrative permit. That's condition 2A. And with that, I have the possible motion there on the overhead. I'm available for any questions that you might have. The applicant, their representative is here as well.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Mr. Pelham, I have just two real quick questions. One, I noticed within the, let's see, where'd it go? You indicated within your, the project evaluation, the very first paragraph, it states that this is the first time that the applicant has sought the appropriate license and permit to conduct this event.
That is wrong. This is the second. This has been going on for a number of years. That's actually, I apologize. I will admit freely that's a holdover from last year. That's an incorrect statement on my part. I
Oh,
apologize.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we're all kind of on the same page with that.
Absolutely.
So they, was approved last year, it's been
It
approved
was.
this year, which is good. And then my only other question I had, real quick, sorry to take up too much time here, but when you, when we use the definition as to what this event is, it says an outdoor community event means an assembly of more than 100 and less than 1,000 persons at any given day. And I noticed that the applicant indicated there'd probably be 650 people at this event and 300 working staff. When we talk about the 100 to 1,000, does that include working staff or does that include people that are just there for the event?
Generally speaking, that includes the folks that are showing up to the event.
Okay,
The-
so it's
the
not an,
participants as opposed to the support staff.
so it's really not an aggregate then, it would just be there. Okay, that was just for my own edification. Thank
That's
you.
certainly my understanding. If I'm wrong, I'm looking at over at our council, but I think that's the way we look at it.
I believe that's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Mr. Stanley?
Thank you. Roger, a couple of just kind of questions of mechanics. One that we normally ask, and I'm not usually the asker of this question, but will attendance be tracked?
I would like to leave that to the applicant, but the answer is yes, they sell tickets.
And maybe to either you or the applicant, is there a history of attendance? I know there was a pretty tight estimate, so I'm guessing it's,
There is. I will leave that to the applicant's
again,
representative.
okay. The other question, and help me with this one, it seems that 15 agencies were asked for input, and one responded?
That's actually fairly common. If an agency doesn't have any criticism or any conditions that they need met so that their code is complied with, they generally simply don't respond.
Okay,
That's really very typical.
Okay, and I guess the question I had is, you're agnostic on whether or not they simply remain silent or whether they say, no, we have no issues?
I'm sorry.
Is it helpful if they say, we've seen this, we've read through it, we have no issues, or is silence golden?
Silence is golden.
Okay,
If they don't respond in some way, we assume they're good.
they had their moment.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last one, if I may. You know, normally, the reports are excellent about including as an appendix or something, an addenda, whatever. The cab minutes, you know, there'll be a kind of a, here's what they decided, but here's the blow by blow. And typically, from what I've seen, the Incline Village cab is pretty active and has quite a lot of, did I miss something? Is it included here? Because I saw the synopsis of something that said it was approved with very little comment.
Yeah, they
But no
virtually, they sort of all looked at each other and said, looks good, same thing, let's go.
Okay,
It was really that quick.
all right, so not too much to minute then.
Very, very little. I was there. It lasted, gosh, longer than we've been talking now. I'm saying shorter than we've been talking now.
On that note, I'll say thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you, Mr. Pelham.
Thank you.
Is the applicant present? Do they wish to speak on this matter?
Thank you. I'm Kristen Keene, representing the applicant, the League to Save Lake Tahoe. So I'm available to answer any questions you may have. I appreciate you considering the application.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. Keene?
No.
I still have the question I thought you would ask perhaps, Mr. Chair, but about counting, it's usually your question.
Go ahead.
Let's make sure I get this done right, okay?
I think it was asked and answered. This is a invite only.
That's
event.
correct.
So therefore, it's not open to the public, so there really won't be a huge ebb and flow since it's restricted to the invitees.
Oh, absolutely not. And we have very careful tracking and entry.
That satisfied? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate that. Madam Secretary, is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this matter?
Yes, Kathy Brandhorst.
Thank you.
Excuse me. My name is Kathy Brandhorst, and I am the United States President. And I just wanted to let you know an incident that took place during a show that was taken at the Wingfield, it's the Wingfield Park. And I just wanted to let you know there were 2 police officers in charge, I guess. But you see, there was fire also involved in this. And they were dancing on the stage. But I did not see nobody respond to a 4.5-year-old girl who was set on fire. Oh my. She was burned to a blackened crisp. And nobody helped that little girl at all during this event. And I just wanted to tell you, I was sitting on the bench, the bus bench, and her brother tried to help her, 5.5 years old. Oh my. He was also set on fire. And what did the police officers do? They walked off the park without stopping this person, arresting this person for the gruesome murders of 2 young children who were dancing on the stage. I just wanted to tell you too that these children never had a chance at all. One little girl said she was so exhausted dancing, they wouldn't even relieve her off the stage because there was nobody else there to take her place. She said she was hungry, she was thirsty, but they didn't give her nothing to eat and nothing to drink either. Oh my. What kind of an event would allow this to keep going on? And I noticed Roger Pelham, senior planner. Oh my God. Commissioner Burke Bigler. Well, you're gonna have the same problem again if you allow this one to go on. Oh my. There's going to be murders taking place, and there's going to be dead bodies in the park too, just like what happened the day that I was there. The people enjoyed the band because it was all drums. But you see, that's not going to protect them, is it? Not in murders especially. Somebody was carrying the electric chainsaw all over the park and chopping people up.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, is anyone else wishing to speak on this matter?
No more requests.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and close the public comment, bring it back to the board for discussion. Any discussion?
No discussion here.
Seems like a very worthwhile project and very well organized.
With that, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion Mr. Chair.
Mr. Lawrence?
All right, I move that that after giving reason and consideration to the information contained in the staff report and information received during the public hearing, the Board of Adjustment approve administrative permit case number WD MIN 19-0013 for League to Save Lake Tahoe, having made all 5 findings in accordance with Washoe County Code Development Code Section 110.808.25, those being for consistency, improvements, site suitability, and issuance not detrimental.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
We do.
Mr. Stanley, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is chair and board items. First up is number A, which is future agenda items. Are there any future agenda items from the board members that would like to have discussed?
None here?
Thank you. B is requests for information from staff. Do any of the board members have any information they would request? Thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to item 10, Director and Legal Counsel items. Number A, report on previous Board of Adjustment items. Mr. Lloyd.
Nothing to report at this time.
Excellent, thank you. Legal information and updates. Mr. Large.
Nothing for me at this time here.
Thank you. Next is general public comment and discussion thereof. Madam Secretary, do we have anyone wishing to speak at this time?
Yes, Kathy Brandhorst.
Thank you.
My name is Kathy Brandhorst, and I'm also the United States President. I just wanted to let you know that these events that you're holding in Lake Tahoe or Reno or Sparks or Carson City, we are just having nothing but complaints. Oh my God. I just found a dead body chopped up. Oh. Yes, they're dragging that dead body all over the park at Wingfield because what happened? Nobody knows nothing. Nobody's gonna say nothing, but there's a dead body being dragged all over the park. I even follow the blood stains until it ends. And of course, it goes into the garbage, or do they load it up on a pickup? And what happens to that body? Nobody knows. That's according to, the public. The public is so scared to even attend these events because the people who are running these events are not human. I just wanted to tell you again that I was standing at the river. I thought I saw a dead body in that river. Oh my God. I saw the arms floating in that river. Oh my. You know what? This is an event that took place at the Wingfield Park, and you're allowing another child dead floating in the river? Who's responsible? What kind of police officers are we attending these events? Who are these people? Are they really going to protect the public? Are they going to protect the people who are in the events themselves? I mean, dancers, that's all they do. They're good people, but they're dead. And I just wanted to let you know they are victims too. The victims don't have a chance either because they saw somebody with the electric chainsaw or maybe a machete knife or a butcher knife carried in their hands because they have to serve sandwiches, they have to serve hot dogs, they have to serve popcorn and whatever else they serve. But people are not buying it because it's too expensive. They bring their own lunch. They bring their own food to the park because it's a lot cheaper. I mean, they could go to the 99-cent store and get 4-pack.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, is there anyone else wishing to speak on any issues?
We have no additional requests.
Thank you very much. With that, or is there anything from the board? Thank you. With that, we are adjourned.